today's of ALE, how to do this. 1 second. Okay, so what is ALE? So ALE means application link enabling. So in here, what we do is we have two things. First is ALE and IDocs. Okay, so IDoc means interim document. This will enable SAP. This will enable SAP to link with other systems via interface. This is just a document that, with the application link enabling, helps to bridge two different systems. That is, one is SAP and one is your third-party system. So third-party system can be like Odoo. So Odoo is one website that I was helping with one other client. So this is one ERP that is used in ERP management system that is used in different companies. So a Japanese client of our was using Odoo. In this Odoo, what happens is they have a small small ERP. So they have pay-per-use model, which is very helpful for this small firms. Okay, so they won't have the money to run a big business. So then they use this software. So this will work with our ALEs. Okay, so ALE IDoc is a different thing. It was used before. So this ALE IDoc was used in the older versions of S4 HANA. Sorry, SAP. 1 second. PC was trying. Okay, somebody new. Okay, so in the earlier versions of SAP, this ALE and IDoc was used. You can also see here which functions are there. R2 systems, the one with the two-level architecture, just the application and the end user was there. Okay, so in the system that didn't had 3-level architecture or 4-level architecture, that had ALE and EDI. So sorry, ALE and IDocs. So what we are going to do, we are going to use EDIs. So EDI is a medium of exchange. Let me search here. Okay, EDI in SAP ML. So what we can do is we can search. So EDI is very simple. So it's like using Excel. I'll show you the format. The actual role in EDI of us is like just to manage people. So EDI means electronic data interchange. It is used between SAP systems and the external systems. So when you think about IVMM, and inventory management process, EDI enables a vendor to transfer invoice information electronically instead of a print paper invoice. And IDoc means intermediate document. Okay, so this intermediate document is used during ALE and EDI. So we are going to see MMEDI, that is via PI, SAP PI. So I'm not very well versed in PI. I've not been taking the PI cockpit and all these parts, but I can show you how this works. So this is a basic overview of your company. How will go with the approach? So this is the basic approach. This is a solution that we have generated via a portal that is called the vendor portal. This was the portal that was made live in my current client, for my current client, in January 29 January 2024. We gave it the go live. Okay, so we have two processes, that is for material purchase and for service purchase. So since service purchase cycle is very small, so we have made a separate Excel sheet because it is used via the service entry sheet application. So the overview of this is we will use vendor portal for our alpha. Alpha means our alpha plant. ALPL is our plant. Okay, so ALPL is our plant. So I have changed the name because this is some confidential document and I cannot share you with the logos and all. So this is the overview. Then we'll go with the purchase process and the service purchase. So how will we do it? We will have the vendor portal to streamline. We have three users: the admin, the vendor, and the buyer. Okay, so just one thing is needed to be mentioned here. Let me mention it here as a note. Okay, so vendor master duplicates should. Okay, this was one point that uh, that disrupted our timeline to deliver the solution. So vendor master duplicacy was there. Okay, so a lot of vendor masters were duplicate. Some had their name changed in the end, so it impacted our system. So I will tell you how. So first, let's go with the overview. So how will we do it? We will have three users in the vendor portal. So one will be the admin. So admin is the one that will overview all the process, all the ongoing process of the portal. Okay, so he'll have the admin rights, administrator rights. He can reset the IDs. He can block the vendors for time. Let's say a vendor is not properly responding, or he's not giving the invoices, submitting the invoices, or he's not following the proper process. Then what we'll do? We will have the admin make the vendor as block. So this vendor cannot do any activities against the PO, right? So all these vendor logins, the buyer logins, all these will be guided by the admin. Then comes the vendor. Okay, so the vendor will be like we have to perform the activities. So this purchasing activities such as acknowledgement of PO. So PO acknowledgement means that the vendor has received the PO. Then ASN, vendor will do the ASN. ASN means advanced shipping notification. Then he will get the updates of the goods receipt. So the goods receipt and the invoicing receipt will be at the plant's end, at the client's end. Okay, so this is alpha client. He will have the goods receipt and the invoicing after the vendor will upload it. Okay, so the number of so we gave one logic with the RBKP table that after the posting of invoice, the vendor will be notified. After the payments, okay, the bank clearing. So we gave FI logic also. After the clearing document is generated, the value is cleared partial or full. That is what we have given. So since we do not use electronic payments via for FI, we have given the logic for the payment clearing after the posting of invoice. So at every step we have tried to minimize the vendor involvement. So vendor will only upload the invoice. The end user, that is our division users, they will only check the invoice, give the reasons for the check, and then they'll do the clearing document. The accounts division will do the clearing document. So we have given till clearing, and we are in the process of updating our system also. Then we will have one integration in the middle that which user has the invoice and why is it pending. So we have implemented one workflow. Now there is a second part that will be coming, but it is not here in this PPT. It's a future development that the client has requested already. Okay, so the buyer. So the buyer will be our purchasing or the procurement division user. So he will do the purchasing activities. What he will do, he will just place the PO. That's it. That's his work. Then all the GRs will be done by the division users. So we have different users. All the buyers might not be the division users. Okay, so some of the division users might be the buyers. So what happens in a organization typically is there will be a procurement division that will be central procurement division. So they'll place an order for every plant or every division. So how this will work is the central division has the buyer access. So they'll at every activity of the procurement cycle they can monitor the process. So what we have done is we have given this access to all the executive engineers. Means the in charge of each division has the buyer access. Why? Because I'll tell you, because we have invoice uploading activities that are needed to be done. So we have made the end user empowered that they will monitor all the purchasing activity and they can see all the invoice pertaining to their divisions only. Okay, then this is the last thing that told the client that a standard procurement operation document should be prepared and this should be circulated. So this means just an SOP. Standard operating procedures means SOP. So SOP, I have also made one SOP with the end-to-end. I will explain in the last 5 to 10 minutes how we are doing that. My end goal here is to make you imagine how we are going to do it in the system and how all these configurations are needed to be done and what is needed to be sent to the teams. Okay, so we'll use two teams. One is for the PIPO team, and the other is for our end user. Okay, so now after the document has been prepared, this will be sent to vendors also for the ease of process. Okay, so now we have vendor master duplicacy. This should be avoided. Why? Because we'll be using another server, that is the web portal. Okay, so the web portal, if it has duplicacy, the database. Okay, so we are using JDBC. Okay, so this is a Java database. Some connectivity is there with the SAP. Okay, so Java database connectivity, JDBC server is there. So what it does is JDBC will have some architecture. What it will do is in the SAP system, we'll have RFC users, SAP. Okay, so this RFC users, what we'll do is, and the basis team will map the RFC communication as communication users. So this via remote function call, they will be sent to another system. They'll be sending the data to another system. Okay, so imagine this. So this is our source system, and this is our SAP system. How this will connect via the RFC call. Okay, so this is to and fro. This is to and fro. Any external data transfer is needed to be done from the SAP system. We have a data pool here, right here. Any data is needed to be sent. We will do it via the RFC system, RFC call. Okay, so this will be to and fro. This data will be to and fro motion. So this is something that is relevant to your basis team. Okay, so this RFC program will be made by the ABAP team. The RFC users will be created by the basis team, and the PIPO team will make the connections. Okay, so I'll show you one example of PIPO server connections. I think that this session might be a little overwhelming for you guys. So this is SAP PI, process integration. What happens in SAP PI is we will use the SAP system with the other systems. So let's say you have you have manufacturers. So what we'll do is you will connect your reporting, or you will have your business details or the sales process or the materials management process. All this will be connected via the SAP PI. So these are other systems. They have given the manufacturers, but these are other systems. So this is just a mediator between all the different systems. So one second, I think there will be a better architecture. Yeah. Okay, so this is on the right side, if you can see. So we have all the system ones. Okay, where is that? Okay, so we have all these systems. What happens is you have a server. So SAP PIPO server is different, and SAP MM server or the S4 HANA server that you're working with is different. So what happens is, with this integration server, we'll send the request. We'll send the request from SAP system to the third-party system. Okay, I'll not tell you all these basic things. This is the configuration design. Let's understand the overview only. So we have SAP third-party system. What we'll do is SAP will send it to the integration server. This server will send it to the JDBC of the third-party system. You can use Oracle databases, you can use Java databases, or you can use MongoDB. MongoDB is another database that has coding in Python language and is very easy to use. Okay, so it has a lot of advantages over JDBC. But since this project started in 2020, so this old development only had JDBC accessibility. Okay, so let's get back. So we have SAP system. This will send to the integration server. the request, this will get into the third party systems, and the third party system, after any input is done, it will send back to the integration server, and then the information will come back to SAP system. This integration server will be the proxy tables will be there. So I'll show you how this will work. There is another. Okay, yeah. So this is adapter framework. So as I said, there will be a receiver and a sender. Okay, so this will be a sender adapter. This will be a receiver adapter. Then we have XML and data dictionary. Okay, so this data dictionary is a part of, I think the T code is AL11. Okay, so this dictionary is maintained by the ABAP team. So your technical will know this. This T code I'm not exactly remembering. I think that T code is AL11. We can check meanwhile, or we can check that later. So this configuration is done by the ABAP team. All the inputs that are coming from the system, okay, all the input that are coming from the portal, they will be stored in this directory. Okay, so this directory will be set up by the ABAP team. Your file system will be having XML validator. XML is a language. It's a language that that will have your coding. So I'll show you how XML coding looks like. If I get my hands on that exact date of the XML error or this process, I'll show you how this XML looks like, and we'll try to read. Okay, so XML is basically English. It's just a markup language. It's basically English. It will be under the codes, so it's very easy to decode that. We'll use the monitor. The XML monitor will be there. This data is validated from your SAP system. It is sent to the validator. Then it is sent to your system of the third party. Then there will be inbound and outbound messages. All those all those outbound messages will be sent to the different server. Different server means the third party system. Okay, and the inbound message will come to the SAP system. It will be validated, and the same data will be reflected in the tables. I'll show you how this data is reflected in the PPT or the PDF that I've prepared. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, this is it. Let's get back 1 second. Okay, so the point that we had was about the vendor master duplicacy. Okay, so why this duplicacy should be avoided? Let's say we have a JDBC server, right? 1 second, JDBC server. Images. Okay, so let's say we have a JDBC server. What happens here is you have sent the data to the database. You have sent the data to the server, then to the database. What will happen is you have used some data. Let's say your name is XYZ. Now, if there is another vendor with the same name. Okay, so first thing, if you have the same name, how will the system determine? It should supposedly determine on the basis of email ID. Let's say you have a duplicacy and you have maintained email IDs, the names and the vendor IDs are same. How will the system check? So for this, there is a concept called key. Okay, so we have primary key concept. So this is one concept that is very important for you guys. 1 second, let me show you. Okay, let's check this. So we have a primary key. This is the key that will help us to determine all the attributes of all these fields. Okay, so this, let's say this student ID is 123. So what happens here is the student ID will determine all these attributes. But for me, what we did was, we have all these vendor IDs. Everything is there. Vendor name, first name, last name is same. Everything is same. Email ID is also same. So what JDBC logic was developed by some senior was that they had given the primary key as email ID. So email ID we made mandatory in the vendor master, in the PP screen layout or role. We made it mandatory. Then what happened was, this due to this key, what this vendors were same. So let's say we have a BHEL vendor. So BHEL is in It's in Lucknow, it's in Bangalore, it's in Delhi. It's all it's basically in every part of the city, or sorry, in every part of the state, or in different states. So what happens with this vendor is you need to define some other email or something else. If you define the same email, what will happen? The system will this the server will have a redundant entry. So this redundant entry, what will mean that it is the same vendor. So instead of sending it to the let's say the student ID is 2, okay, assume it as vendor code, assume it as vendor code, and everything else is same. Everything else is same. Tom Cox is same. abc.org is same. So what happens is, how the system will determine, it should determine based on this. But due to some old logic, what was happening is, since everything is same name, email ID, and email ID is the login ID password. So this came as a primary key. Then this became the foreign key for determining the vendor logins. So there are separate interfaces. We made 8 interfaces for each part of the process. So this interfaces means that every field, every key field can be identified with the basis of the primary key. So instead of making the vendor ID as primary key, we made the email ID. So in cases of duplicacy in email IDs, the same PO that should go to Tom went to John. This was happening. Okay, so just remember not to have duplicacy, and always try to make the BP as primary key if you're willing to do that. So I'll share you one thing. Just let me check the documents that I have. One second. So this PPT was not over. Let me show you once again. So the basic, let's get to the PPT again. So the basic of the PPT, this process is, will place a purchase order to buy the materials from the vendor. Vendor will get the notification in the portal. Okay, we can also send emails. The email configuration can be done via the EDIs or the spot. Okay, this can be done from the spot or the EDIs via batch job SM36. Okay, so we have done for the portal only. We are sending one email. So this email will be sent to the vendor. Then the vendor will acknowledge the purchase order item. After the item is acknowledged, after the item is acknowledged, the purchase order item is acknowledged, then he'll put a ASN. ASN means advanced shipping notification. So ASN concept is like whenever you have let me okay ASN in P2P. Okay, so whenever you have a delivery, right? So whenever you have delivery, what they will do is they will send one notification. Sorry, they will send one notification that they are bringing the material. I am not finding that. It's okay. I am not sure if it's there, but okay. Advanced shipping notification. The simple terms, just simply you need to remember that there is, let's say you have ordered something from Amazon. So this portal is nothing but Amazon. So if you have ordered something from Amazon, when the item is dispatched, okay, so let's say you have placed the order, the PO is placed, order is placed, vendor got, Amazon, the vendor got the notification of the order. Vendor said, okay, item is ready, it will be dispatched. So when they will say that in this much time, let's say in 3-4 business days, it will come. So this time of arrival, or the notification that the vendor is telling, is ASN. Then when the item is received on your doorsteps, okay, then an inbound delivery is sent. So this inbound delivery is sent after the GR. So when we do the GR in the system, this will be sent. So whenever you receive Amazon packages or parcels, there will be notification that this was received by XYZ person or the guard. So this is your inbound delivery. Then this inbound delivery, once it is received, it is updated in the portal. Then the GR will be done and invoice will be done. Okay, this inbound delivery, against this, the GR and the invoice receipt is done. So this is the basic concept. And similarly, for the service entry sheet, we will do PO vendor. Vendor will get the notification of the order. He will do he'll acknowledge the item. Do a He'll not here he will not do a ASN because services are not a part of a ASN. He'll say that I'm ready to do this service. Then we'll do the service entry sheet and the invoicing will be same. So now we have added one more step. The step is that the vendor is going to do one more step, that is your invoicing part, and he will upload the invoices. So I'll show you how it is being done. No, do not save. Okay. I think this is the SOP. 1 second. I think this is the old SOP. Okay, even this is fine. 1 second. Okay, let's get back to the logics. So we have one PTS bill tracking system. So bill tracking system is something new that we developed, and the same thing got replicated to other entities like HUDCO system. So this is something that Indian Oil also has picked up. This bill tracking system was proposed by the client's MD. MD is having some high post. So just after the managing director, MD is there. So what happens in the bill tracking? The vendor will log in. So what vendor will do? This is Indian Oil Gas Maharatna company. So they will have a bill tracking, right? When you will search bill tracking. So this is just a tool that will help this individual or the business to monitor, manage their bills invoices. So this means to avoid the late payments. So to avoid the late payments and keep a good credit score, the the enterprise owners, what they'll do is they'll put a bill tracking system. So like this, Indian Oil has their PTS login. So this PTS login is having a vendor ID, right? So this will have a vendor ID password. Likewise, I'll show you the clients. What we developed was okay. So here it is not there. This is my client's portal. So here we are on the main website. Now you can check all these. This is a site map. So here they had BTS login, bill tracking login. Okay. So here we have SAP. It is something related to MPLS network. You cannot open it directly. So here it is the bill tracking login. So this is what me and 2-3 other technicals developed. So this is my client, the Power Genco of Uttar Pradesh. Then you have a login, right? So we have different logins, login ID and password. Then you have captcha. So all these settings or everything, design layout is needed to be finalized by the client. Then you finalize the logo, how it is needed to be placed. This is just a login form. You can forget the ID. You can you need to put the captcha and then you can log in. So this is the BTS login, how the vendor will do. Okay, so I'll show you all these images once. Let's get back to the basics. Okay, so since the overview is clear, I'll go to the message mapping template. And this is okay. This is the last template that we did. Okay, so this is the PO interface. Okay, so this is the PO interface. You guys can see my screen, right? If there are any issues, please let me know in my voice or in the screen part. Any doubts still here? Okay, if there are no doubts, I'll continue. Okay, so we have seen how the tables are in SE16. So in SE16N, you can go and you can check DRAD and Dockner. So this is the PO interface. You can see the mapping of BDCs, so and the interfaces. So this interface has the document number, the document type, the version number, SAP object. All these was developed, and this is okay. The T code was AL11. So what we were checking, I told you while we were seeing this directories, AL11 is the T code for the file directory the ABAP team uses. It was not AL15, it was AL11. The how to download and upload delete files in SAP. So all these directories that we use are given in SAP. The outbound messages and the inbound messages is stored in a separate directory by the ABAP team. So this is AL11. This is one thing that will come handy when you are working with the technical. You should know how these T codes work. So it's just a folder option. It's nothing special. AL11. Okay, so we have all these AL11, all these ABAP files. So under the DRED table, we have if there is a DMS file, if there is a SAP object or the document version, the number, all these will be stored here. So this is just the interface. This will be developed by your technical team. So it's just Excel. You can see we have the source system, the mapping rules, and the target system. Like I explained in the JDBC and the SAP interaction, how we do it with the EDI. So EDI is nothing but your electron data interchange. So this will help your source system to map with the target system. You will have one-on-one rules. If you're using iDocs, the same template can be used. But since we are not using iDocs, it's a standard template. We are using just one-on-one mapping. So this target system will be known by your this PIPO person, and if not, then you or your ABAP team and the basis team will need to sit together and discuss this. So this is IF1. IF means interface. Okay, so this is one interface. It has the mapping of the PO. So when the PO will be acknowledged, so this is the interface 1. So how we have mapped, we have used this table. So this is the SAP internal system, and this is the source system. So in case of acknowledgement, like I showed you in the PPT, once the PO is sent, if it is acknowledged, the acknowledgement will be done by the vendor. So this is our source system. So the vendor is acknowledging and sending the data back to the S4 HANA system that we have acknowledged the PO. Okay, so this PO number is acknowledged, and then we have the fields of order acknowledgement here, right here. So we need to give the field length, what field type it is there, character, number, numcat, this is numc, NUMC is number and character. So the PO item can be anything, PO item number. Okay, all these fields are in EKPO. So we have map, and the mapner is the material code. This fields will be given by the mapping you need to do, right? The mapping you need to do, you need to know what type of field it is there and what is the field length. Okay, so if order is acknowledged, then there will be a tick. It will be a value of 0 or 1, or it will be a yes or no. So it's going to be at most 3-digit letter. So you can use varchar or you can use char 3-digit. Then this is the database table. This is the JDBC database table. So this is the table name in the legacy system or in the where the data resides. Okay, so this is the JDBC part. Then we have our SAP system. So source to target. Then likewise others are also there. Then this is when the ASN is updated. Advanced shipping notification that I told you about. So we have ASN quantity, the PO number, short text. This is our source system. When the vendor does fill the ASN details, all these fields will be updated and it will be sent to our. So if anyone is from the logistics part or they have worked as a end user, AWB number. So this AWB number is alphanumeric. It's a I think 12 or 14 digit. In shipping industry, it is used quite often. So all these big containers, shipping containers will have AWB number. So since we have international procurements also, so we were asked to do this, and we have country of origin also. So every port, every discharge, all these is needed to be kept in mind, and the volume of containers is also need to be kept in mind. So sometimes what happens with the container, you have this big aluminum sheets or the copper sheets for the generator or the not the generator, for the generator and turbines. So there is this TD motor or the GT transformer. All these transformer has big coils. These are weighing around metric tons. Okay, so this is considered in volumes, or this let's say you have this procurement for oil. Currently, you can see the influx of Russian oil has gone upwards of 59% of uh, crude oil. So what we are doing is we are taking the oil from Russia and then refining in Tata refineries and then shipping it out. So all these inward movements, or this ASN that is done, it has to come within volumes, right? All this container will have volumes. So there are, I think, 7 or 8. I have not gone to the logistics part that lot, but there are 7 or 8 types of containers, and this one, uh, uh, this container will have some special oil spillage proofing. So what happens with all these oil containers is you will use this more often in transport management or uh, the other parts of the logistics. So you will have to include in the system that vendor is giving us invoice or we are making in the PO. So our cycle starts from the PO and ends with the invoice parking posted. Okay, so all these fields from the source system will get updated in the target system, that is our ASN creation date. All these are the EKES. EKES is a table that is storing your history of the purchase order. So you can also check this table. We can go and check 1 second. Here we have some water well. If you have any doubts, please ask. I'll show you the tables also. I think that will be much helpful. So 16N, then we'll go to EKES. So we have written the logic that this is the supplier confirmations. Okay. So if you put one purchase order, let's execute it like this. So if you are doing the confirmations, then for which confirmation quantity, the time, the delivery date, the material, and all these numbers will be generated. Then this is the inbound delivery. So if you check, then this inbound delivery number will be there, right? Okay. So the interface 3. So we have this third interface when a new vendor is created. So this vendor will go and it will update a user's table. So we have taken the Lifner name, the vendor name from the supplier name LFA1, the email address from SMTP_ADDR. So yeah, ADDR. Then this vendor account group and Lifner BP number is there. So we have done from SAP system mapping is done to the mapping of the target system, that is your vendor, that is your JDBC in the third party portal. Okay, this is a target system. Then in the fourth, we have the GR. When the GR is done, so this is SAP system to the source system. These are the tables. These are the JDBC tables, and we have given this. Let's you know English, right? Or everyone knows English. Then what happens is you can either define the fields. So what we did was, since our the vendor that we hired was quite busy with other projects also, so we gave our own fields and he mapped the same fields in the table. If these fields are pre-existing, you do not need to change the name. You can put the same names. So let's say you have BP, right? You have supplier name. So the supplier underscore name will not change throughout. It will remain the same. The email will be same. So if we have others, I will show you how it is going to work. Okay. So then here we have the PO number. So we have not mapped anything, I guess. Okay, I think the comments are there. Let's clear. Okay, I think there is nothing here. So what we have done is we should be mapping from the SAP system to the target system, that is our when a PO will be placed in SAP, we have to map all the EKPO and EKPO tables with this with the target system of our JDBC. This will have the PO number, company code, supplier number, down payment retention, everything will be there. Even the custom fields, if you want to give, everything should be there. So this is going to update also. Let's say if you have deleted, okay, then the deletion indicator will work. If you are updating the quantity or the value, then this should update. So there will be two interfaces. One is for creation and one is for update. So if this is for creation, then the update program or the update interface will work separately. So this mapping is done in between the PI. So this interfaces are nothing but the PIPO interfaces. So I worked with PIPO. It is much easier. And when you work with CPI, so there is another model called SAP CPI. Let's go here, SAP CPI. So this is cloud version of cloud platform integration. So this SAP CPI is nothing but the PIPO version of cloud. This is the latest technology that everyone is using. You should not get scared of how we'll uh, make all the integrations between systems. The CPI works very well with SAP. Okay, so this is a SAP product only. So most of the companies will uh, when they go on cloud system, then you will have this integration with the or the S4 HANA sourcing to procurement model. Okay, let's get back. Uh, okay, so here we have interfaces, the EKPO, the T001, the W for the plant description, the EREB. All these tables are there. When you work with the tables, you will know these fields. So for all these fields, you need to check each table. So these are the pricing elements. The pricing elements are in the pricing procedures for the materials that we have already seen, right? The discount, the packaging, forwarding, freight. These are the conditions that were asked by the client. So we have source and target system. This is from the S4 HANA to the target system of our JDBC server, that when a PO is changed or deleted. So like I said, if it is created, then this will be the mapping. If it is changed, then this will be the mapping for the target system. So all these fields will be same. The mapping rules will be one-on-one. Always try to make sure the one-on-one mapping. Then on the acknowledgement, this mapping will be done. EKPU and this. Let's get ahead. Okay. So here the ASN number, ASN quantity, PO order number, everything will be the same. The source and the target system will be there. This is the JDBC. This is the SAP system. Then we have the 11 sheet. Okay. This is for the buyer. So how the buyer will see. So buyer is another user. Everything we did was for vendor. Now this buyer is just another user. How it will see. Okay. So this is just one worksheet that we did. Okay. Nothing special. This was one worksheet. Then we have updated the template. This is the updated template.bts track points. Let me check. No, same sheet. Same sheet. Okay. So one more thing I wanted to tell you about, particular details was that. Okay, so we had created these programs. So what happened? What happened with all these programs was, let's say you have a vendor. So for vendor portal, we'll create a vendor. So for this, you will have one program. How it will work is, for the XML messages. Let's say you have created a vendor in the system. S4 HANA, you have created a vendor. So now this vendor is needed to be transported to your S4 HANA, from S4 HANA to the third party portal. So there will be some programs. So we created a Z program, a custom program for the vendor, and it will be sent to the JDBC server of the third party interface. So this third party interface from SAP system to the portal, then from when you place the PO to the vendor, this will be sent. Then when inbound delivery is made, then one inbound delivery is sent for the ASN. Then the GR, after the GR, a background job is run, and then the data will come from the portal. Then for the invoices, when the vendor uploads the invoices, right, the data will come, and this quantity update will go back to the portal. Okay. So this is one thing. Let's get to the nothing here. Then there was one more. Okay. So this was one logic that I wrote, and we tried to code it to the for the WAP team. So what happens here is we had LFA number one. LFA one is your table for the vendor supplier. So it has ADDR number. ADDR number means the address number, and ADDR number is your SMTP underscore ADR. So we can check here once. LFA1. Let's find a supplier. Okay. Not sure why it is not picking. Anyways, let's ADDR. Okay. Let me explain the logic only. So, and when we pass a vendor to the ADDR number, and then when we pass a vendor, this ADDR number is taken from there, and it is passed into the address of the ADR6. ADR6 is a table that stores the email IDs. So it will fetch the email ID with the address number of the vendor. So this was a simple logic. And if a vendor code starts from 3 for the employee supplier, this is employee suppliers, the people that are working your client and they're buying the material. So their address communication from the BUT 000 table, it will be taken, and the same ADDR number will be passed to ADR6. So this was the two separate logics that we gave to our team. Okay, then this is the bill tracking system mapping. Okay, so this is the bill tracking system mapping. So this might look complex right now, but it is not. So I would like to take your attention towards here. So this is when the PO will be created in SAP. So we added some other feeds also. All these will be there, right? Then this was needed to map here with the currency version. All these were there. Scope of work. There were some additions, version numbers, percentage of bank guarantee. All these were added by for the interface. This is the interface number 2. Then we have a custom table. So this custom table was supposed to be created. So when you see something in green, we were supposed to add it. So this custom table was supposed to be created. We gave the processor, whoever is making this changes, we gave the email ID, and the same we wrote the same field name here in the source system, that is our JDBC system. So this is just the Excel. We need to add all these people, the technical consultant, the RAP person, the SAP PIPO person, and the portal team. So the portal team, what will do is they'll help you in mapping. They'll develop the system. You don't need to do anything as functional consultants. You just need to make this message mapping. This is nothing but the message mapping. Okay, so the custom table is here. What we'll do is we'll use this ID. This processor ID is there, email ID is there. We'll map it with this processor ID, email ID. So is it a processor or not? We have defined some logic that is not relevant to you, but for the portal we have to do this to make sure that only some specific users are using the portal. So I think this is the end of the topic. I'll show you how we have done. There are no other points that I wanted to show. Okay, so let me just log out. I'll show you one SOP, how we did it for the vendor and how we did it for the buyer. Just give me 1 minute. Let me check where that SOP is in my drive. If you have any doubts, you can ask doubts. You have 2-3 minutes for doubts. Then in next 4-5 minutes, we'll check all the developments, how we did, how the portal looks like, and what are the key aspects that you need to take care about. Okay, if there are no doubts, I'll continue. So let me share my screen. So this is how we did our SOP. So in this SOP, you can see this is available online on the website also. So this is a prerequisite that we have already mentioned that I told. So this is the SOP for buyer, how the buyer will do. So the process of the buyer is very small. We can start with the vendor SOP. So this vendor SOP is much better this way. Okay, so how the vendor will do is vendor will register. How the vendor will register after the L1. So you guys know that by now that in metals management, you do RFQs, then you get the whatever the quotation is given, then the L1 vendor is selected and the contract is awarded. So what we have suggested the client that after the awardation of contract, after the L1 vendor is selected, when you are going to place a PO, right? So when you're going to place a contract, then the vendor should be taken into the system. So as soon as the vendor is updated in the system, automatic email, this vendor registration email, automatic email will be sent to the vendor. So this was a temporary vendor exposure, this 5k2.com. So this was the email ID that was received by the vendor. So these are the login credentials that the vendor will get as soon as they are registered into the my client's SAP system. So on SAP triggering of SAP, automatic background jobs are there. Okay, then the vendor will receive the login link. So this is the login link, and we have also included one line that do not reply to this email. I think it is not here, but I'll need to update the screenshots. Okay, so then the vendor will log in. I've already given you the site, how this looks like. So vendor will log in. So what will vendor do? Vendor has some specific buttons. Okay, so they will have a dashboard. They'll go to the manage purchase order. They will be having this dashboard. So after this dashboard, they will be able to see the PO. So this is the PO that they can see. They have different PO number selection, status, the company code, ASN status, if it is delivered or not delivered, if it is released or not. All this date will be there, plant will be there. So you can also select on the basis of material services, and it can be exported. So we have given all the functionalities that was supposed to be there. So this is the third-party portal of a vendor. So when you double click on the item, or you can also go to the action button, what this is doing is you can open this item, put multiple ASNs. You can put acknowledgement first. First you need to acknowledge, then you can put ASN. So after you put acknowledgement that we have received this PO and we are ready. So this delivery readiness is given by the ASN. The success message is popped up. Then this ASN is done. ASN, after this ASN, you will get to the ASN tab. Okay, you have done the items. So when you click on ASN, okay, when you click process multiple ASN, then this ASN will pop up. You need to fill the quantity. Then you need to click on next. As soon as you click on the next, ASN details, as I said before, the port number, the loading, the voice number, AWB number, volume, all these can be filled. Then this is alphanumeric. Then you can click on submit. So once you click on submit, the ASN is successfully done. Okay. After this is done, it will be sent to the PO, the PO of the buyer. So the PO of the buyer is in the SAP system. I will show you how the PO looks like. So once the PO has the delivery tab. So every PO has a delivery tab, right? So in that, we'll go to the PO of the buyer also. So this was simultaneously that we did. So this has a delivery tab, right? Under here, wait a second, another second. Okay. Okay, so here under the confirmations, as you do the ASN, as the vendor has done the ASN, the PO, this is the PO that we made. So this under the confirmation, we get the inbound delivery. So as soon as the vendor has sent, we'll get the inbound delivery. And once we do the GR, after doing the GR quantity is done, then from the SAP system, the portal is updated. Okay, the portal is updated. It will show the 50 quantities received against the total order quantity, and the open quantity were only 473. Now, when the vendor wants to park an invoice, so how the vendor will park an invoice? Okay, so they'll go to another tab, that is your invoice tab. I think this is old SOP. They'll go to another tab called the invoice tab. Then they can upload the invoices. I think it is not here, the PTS one. Okay, never mind. Let's go for the buyer. So for the buyer, what we have done is you have manage business partner. Then when the buyer updates all these screens, then you have the vendor. So when the vendor is updated, this vendor will be saw, right? When this vendor is updated, you will get a login credentials with the logo and some system message that please do not reply. This is a system generated message. Then the registration is done. After the registration, the buyer will create a PO for the vendor. After the PO creation is there, then you can export the data also. The buyer will see a lot of data, right? So you can export the data, you can export into Excel or into PDF. So this is the Excel format after the exporting. This is the export that got created. This is under the buyer login. You can see the buyer login. Okay. Now here, just the after the ASN, under the confirmations only, you just need to tick the confirmation control. So if you don't tick confirmation control, there will be no inbound delivery. This is one thing that will happen. This is the configuration that we did. So this is automatic. Acknowledgement is mandatory, and if you don't acknowledge, you just need to put the inbound delivery. So this inbound delivery, we will do the GR, then this Nego will be placed and the invoice will be parked. Okay. So this invoice will be seen. When we park the invoice, this will become to be invoiced 473. After the posting of invoice, this will become 473. And before that, it was order quantity as 473. Okay. So this is the entire system. I think there is one thing that is missing. Let me check that also, and we can close this session. So there's one BTS related thing that I wanted to show you guys. These are the old SOPs actually. So I'm not very sure why it is not updated. Okay, I got the new SOPs. Okay. Copy, paste. Okay, so for the admin also, I have made one SOP. I just wanted to share with you that also. I'll take 5 more minutes if that's fine. So this is the admin SOP. So under this admin SOP, we have the admin, we have given it to the core team. So this is the core team that will update. So they will go to the BP. The BP we have given to the client. The email is mandatory, and the plant IT team, how they will do, and what are the prerequisites, and if the job will be there, then we have already created a background job. So after midnight, at every 12 a.m., that's midnight. So every day, this background job will run, and the vendors can log in here. So this is the admin SOP. What admin is needed to do. The admin can guide all the team, right? So we have a central team that will guide how they need to do, and this is the admin login. So they can pull out a list of vendors. They can search. So we had one multi-vendor, multiplex, or this multi-services. So this multiplexer vendor was needed to be found. So what we did was we can search. We can use the vendor ID also. We can use the name or the email ID. So under this action button, we can send the email. We can send the email, and we can also deactivate the vendor. So if you want to deactivate, you can deactivate. So this is a custom program that we created for all the admins. That was vendor portal maintenance. In this program, what happens is you have the whatever interfaces that I showed you, the vendor upload, the PO upload, the inbound upload, or the GR, everything is given one short tile, this T code for the application we have given when we go to maintenance. Then all the P2P steps are listed, and the purpose vendor upload we have given here. Okay, so this is the short presentation that the short SOP that we gave, and we have also included one invoice status report. I'll try to show you that also. This is the buyer SOP. So in the buyer SOP, I'll show you how it has in there. Okay, so okay, this is much descripted. Here we have highlighted also. In the old SOP, it was not highlighted that much. And after the ASN details, we added this tab. So this was the latest development that we did in the January month of 2024. So this is the invoice tab here. You can see. So in the invoice tab, what we did was we have the vendor. So how the vendor will do? The vendor will upload the invoices in the invoices tab. So this is what invoice date on PAN card, GST, everything means. Then after the uploading of invoices, an email is triggered. So this is email is triggered that your invoice has been uploaded. Send this for buyer verification. So then the uploaded invoices will be checked by the buyer. So in the invoice tab, we are going in the invoice tab. So this invoice will be searched by the buyer. The buyer will give the recommendations. Okay, so he will either accept. So the buyer has to view. This is under the invoice tab only. The buyer has to view. He will accept or reject. You have 9 reasons: accept, reject. Okay, and we have a bill tracking ID also. You can accept, reject, and out of this 9 reasons, you can select anything. Okay, incorrect GST, PAN. This is on the part of the buyer or the end user. Okay, so you have different acceptance or rejectance region. Then we have created a custom report for the invoice that is also called the invoice status report. Here we have the BTS ID or the bill tracking system ID. If the invoice is accepted, then it will only come to the system. Then the date, purchasing order, purchasing document, invoice number, everything will be sent back. Then how did we add it? We added it into the details tab. So in the under the details tab, we made this mandatory, and after making mandatory, all this system, all the BTS system had the dates. Had the fields, the current status, the payment clearing status. All these status were supposed to be updated. Then how to troubleshoot? The troubleshoot document is also given, right? So this is a standard format. How you need to make the documents, and we gave the client's representative here that if in case of any issues, just contact the ERP team person. So this is the basic overview and how you need to process with the linkage, right? So we can stop the recording here, and we can ask doubts if you want.